Ladies and gentlemen, today we will figure out, why does Scottie Pippen hate Michael Jordan?
Do you think that Michael Jordan would be as successful without you?
No.
In 2009, when Michael Jordan entered the Basketball Hall of Fame, the first person he mentioned and thanked was Scottie Pippen.
You never just saw me, saw Scottie Pippen.
Next year, it was Michael who presented Scottie to the Hall of Fame. When Pippen worked on ESPN and had to do a LeBron versus Jordan comparison, Pippen said this.
And there's no game that I would ever play in and pick LeBron James over Michael Jordan.
But this was in 2018, and Scottie and Michael's relationship seemed like the happiest marriages. While Jordan was known to be a harsh teammate who bullied players and even punched Steve Kerr in the face, we never heard those kinds of stories about Scottie. And then came the pandemic, and the sporting world stopped.
He has just tweeted within the past 2 minutes that the NBA is suspending the season.
Deprived of anything to cheer for, Netflix offered a 10-episode salvation for all sports fans.
Yo, I'm just getting flashbacks to the day, like, the NBA announced shit was getting suspended. That was I ain't gonna lie, COVID was crazy, bro. COVID was crazy. Motherfuckers were hyped. Yo! No school for 2 weeks! Yeah! Extended spring break!
Yeah, there was a pandemic out there, all right? It was actual hell to be paid for.
It was The Last Dance, a long-awaited documentary about the last season of the Bulls dynasty, with behind-the-scenes footage nobody had ever seen before. And when the documentary came out, that's when Scottie's and Michael Jordan's relationship started to change. See, The Last Dance wasn't really a basketball documentary. It was more like basketball was just a means to an end, and where historic NBA events were used to tell a preset narrative. And that narrative was to glorify the cult of Michael Jordan and his place as the basketball GOAT. The Last Dance presented basketball in a way that can be understood by non-basketball fans and casuals. It was directed in a way that puts an individual over a team, which is not surprising, considering that director Jason Hare needed Jordan's approval to make the film, and that Jordan's presence in the film was conditioned by his control over the content.
That was a great
Last
documentary.
Dance minimized the roles of Jordan's teammates, not properly explaining that MJ had by far the best supporting cast in the NBA. The documentary never mentioned that Steve Kerr was the most accurate three-point shooter of all time, that Horace Grant made 4 all-defensive teams, or that Tony Kukoc was the best European player and the most versatile power forward in the NBA. The doc barely mentioned a defensive ace, Ron Harper, and they completely failed to say a single thing about center Luke Longley. Dennis Rodman got a lot of screen time, but much less as the best rebounder in NBA history, and more of a party animal that Jordan needed to drag by the years from Carmen Electra's hotel room. But the player who was most heard about the whole thing was Scottie Pippen, and it's not hard to see why.
I had a ruptured tendon in my ankle, and I decided to have surgery late because I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna my summer up trying to rehab for a season.
Scottie Pippen of the Bulls will be out for 2 to 3 months.
What Scottie was trying to do was trying to force management to change his contract. And Jerry wasn't gonna do that.
MJ called out Pippen as being selfish for delaying surgery. That season, Jordan was making $33 million, while Scottie was earning just $2.7 million. While the second episode of the documentary did center around Scottie and his unbelievably long road to the NBA.
Hey, 2.733. Jeez.
Ain't gonna lie, it was according to Stephen A, but I heard that essentially there was a contract that he got offered and everybody was telling him not to take it, and he took that job anyway. But either way, that's tough. Either way, that is tough as hell.
In the end, the focus of the narrative quickly returned to MJ. And despite being so Jordan-centric, The Last Dance was a successful project because it achieved 3 goals.
Man, hold on. I think y'all are dick sucking. This video is dick sucking. Not even dick suck. Y'all just going on the doc too much. It's called The Last Dance. You know what I'm saying? Like, this isn't the 1998 Chicago Bulls documentary. It's The Last Dance for a reason.
That's very
It's
true.
the MJ Bulls dynasty. This is their last dance together. This is what it's about. You know what I'm saying? God, if you want to watch a Bulls documentary, watch one of that. This is not it.
The Stampede. All right, bro. like, watch the Stampede, doc, bro. This is 100% agree with that. I was thinking that mentally, but I wasn't gonna comment on it. So you pause. Yeah, nah. When it's called The Last Dance and you see a red 23 on the screen, like, bro, you know who your main character was, bro. You know, like what are we doing? This. We've been down this road before. I'm not gonna echo it, but just that same shit y'all doing narratives, bro. You knew what The Last Dance was about. Don't be shocked. Oh my god, it wasn't about the team. All right, bro.
I don't think they ever came out and said, yo, this is an unbiased perspective of the Chicago Bulls 1998 championship run. No, this is from Michael Jordan's perspective. You know what I'm saying? Let's talk to Michael. Let's get what he thought of the situation. And let's just put it in the doc. Like, damn, I don't know.
The Last Dance on Netflix is literally described as a docuseries chronicle of the rise of superstar Michael Jordan and the 1990 Chicago Bulls. Dog, it's gonna be about Jordan from his lens, bro.
It managed to entertain and occupy the sports world in the biggest absence of sports since the 1860s. It served as a nostalgia for the people who lived through the Bulls dynasty, and it revitalized the interest in Jordan among the younger generations. If we look at the doc as an entertaining story for the masses, The Last Dance absolutely killed and knocked it out of the park. But in terms of explaining basketball nuances and strengthening relationships between the Bulls players, The Last Dance backfired completely. In May 2020, after the last episode aired, Jordan sent a rare text to Scottie Pippen. "What's up, dude? I'm getting a word that you're upset with me. Love to talk about it if you have time." Pippen did call him back and explained his displeasure with how the rest of the Bulls were portrayed. When asked about it, Scottie backtracked a little bit. "This documentary has not changed our relationship. We will be friends forever. I told Michael I wasn't too pleased with The Last Dance. He accepted it. He said, hey, you're right. That was pretty much it. But it wasn't it, and this comment aged badly really quickly." In 2021, Pippen started to unravel his feelings about Jordan, issuing a series of comments during the promotion of his autobiography titled Unguarded. Scottie told a story about how Jordan used to cheat him out of $100 during each Bulls game by bribing the staff to tell him who was going to win Jumbotron races. During a GQ interview, Pip accused Jordan of being selfish for leaving the Bulls to pursue a baseball career.
What did you think when he said he was going to go play baseball?
Yeah, it was a big decision, but it was a selfish decision, but it was kind of who Michael Jordan was.
Implying that
But at that point, any decision to retire is a selfish decision. I don't think you choose to retire just from a team perspective. It's like, yo, I want to retire. Like that's a me decision. What?
My thing is, and I'm not here to cape for Jordan here, but I have to look at it from both lenses, and I have to be truthful when it doesn't make sense for one side. If I'm looking at it from Scottie's side, and Michael Jordan was essentially a trash player. He said that. I don't think it'll be covered in this video because it's a little older, but he did go on to call Michael Jordan trash prior to him. And you would also imply that he needed you to succeed. And now he's gone. And now you have the chance to get the big dollars and the recognition that you desired. To necessarily go on the limb and be like, yo, you're just selfish to get him out of there versus just encouraging a retirement. To me, if anything, you were too selfless, my guy. At that point, I'm like, all right, nigga. All right, look, man, we gonna miss you. It's gonna be a lot harder without you, but shit, it's Pippen time. You feel me? It's time for 3-3. At that point, I guess what I'm saying is, if he's selfish, nigga, you were selfless. At that point, dog, go and build your own.
But even from that perspective, I agree with you. It wasn't like he were just retired out of nowhere and didn't do anything for the franchise. Y'all won 3 straight championships. Like, if you go back, there are literally articles and conversations about like, yo, at this point, Michael Jordan is already the GOAT. At this point, Michael Jordan believes he has accomplished everything on a basketball court. Looking back, obviously he could have accomplished more in hindsight. But it's like, yo, he literally viewed the game as I did everything that I needed to do. DPOY, the money, the numbers, the championships, the recognition, the respect. Fuck y'all. I do the same thing. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe that's me being selfish. But it's like, dude, it's my choice to retire, bro. I already did my part. It wasn't like I didn't. Did you? Yeah.
Yes, I think did he do his part? It's crazy.
Too much time grieving the death of his father. Scottie also downplayed Jordan's flu game, saying that he didn't receive any praise for playing the 1998 finals with a herniated disc. But the biggest criticism about Jordan the player was when Pippen said that the Bulls didn't win 6 rings because of MJ, and that they did it in spite of him. Seeing again how poorly Michael treated his teammates, I cringed, as I did back then. We didn't win 6 championships because he was tough with the guys. We won in spite of his bullying. We won because we played team basketball, which hadn't been the case my first 2 seasons when Doug Collins was our coach. In his book, Scottie also changed his perspective on the LeBron versus Jordan debate. I may go as far as to say Mike ruined basketball. In the 80s on the playgrounds, you'd have everyone moving the ball around, passing to help the team.
He hit him with the
That
Curry
stopped
argument.
in the 90s. Kids wanted to be like Mike. And Mike didn't want to pass, didn't want to rebound, or defend the best player. He wanted everything done for him. That's why I always believed LeBron James was the greatest player this game has ever seen.
Always, facts.
He does everything and embodies what the game is truly about.
Always believe that.
The rest of the book was even more critical about Jordan and The Last Dance, saying that every episode was the same. Michael on a pedestal, his teammates secondary, referred to as his supporting cast. Michael
That is
could
a
shoot
supporting
6 for
cast!
24 from the
Oh,
field,
man.
commit 5 turnovers,
man.
and he was still,
What?
in the minds
Nah,
of the adoring
bruh.
press and public,
This
the
is crazy.
errorless
This is-
Jordan.
Is that not a supporting cast?
It's literally, look, man, and this is gonna sound harsh. Y'all are gonna call it cape because it's easy to do so, but in life, in certain situations, when you have your group project, it's even subliminal in terms of who provides the most. There are leaders, there are star performers, and then therefore there are supporting cast. If everybody was the exact same impact in every exact same situation, then sure, this is no supporting cast. But we would be disingenuous, if that's too big a word for you, straight up lying, if we were to treat the 90s era of Chicago basketball as if everybody had the exact same value to the team. That's just not true. It's just not true. Even if you want to say it was MJ and Scottie, it's just not true. So, and let alone, we already talked about the documentary. Yes, in that documentary, you were a supporting cast member to a documentary made around Michael Jordan. But I'm not even going to be PC. On the Bulls teams, nigga, you was a supporting cast. What are we doing?
I just don't get the whole selfish claim on Michael Jordan's part. I understand, like, he was a volume scorer and things of that nature. But this idea that he was selfish from the jump and he just never adjusted his game. Again, maybe I'm the guy lacking the history here. But from my understanding, Jordan was the dude putting up 35, 8, and 8 every single game, right? And as he aged throughout his career, as winning became, not that it wasn't a priority, but, he really wanted to do what's best for the team. When Phil Jackson came in, I'm pretty sure it's a joint effort. I just don't want to give all the credit to Phil Jackson, but I would assume he also had a big part in this. There was this notion that Michael Jordan was going to take a step back, go from 35 to 29, 30, so Scottie Pippen can get his shine. You know what I'm saying? So a Horace Grant can get his shine. So that his supporting cast can get more shine and we can play more team basketball and run the triangle offense and things of that nature. I don't know, man.
It didn't even factor Jordan getting more assists when Sol said what he said. When Jordan was averaging 7, 8 assists or whatever, it was during when he was dropping 30 left and right and shit, when he was essentially, if you never seen him play, essentially like James Harden back then, but obviously nowhere near the same play style. But in terms of like usage with the ball. But when it was time for him to take the step back and the points went down, it's not like the assists went up like how it does nowadays, right? No, he just simply was like, fuck it. Pippen gonna have to cook. Fuck it. Horace gonna have to cook. Fuck it. Rodman gonna get the board, and sometimes he's not passing right back to Jordan. Like, it is what it is. And for it to just be deemed selfish now is kind of crazy to me. I'm not saying he was selfless. I'm not saying he's this hero, but selfish just doesn't sit right. Some about that just doesn't seem true.
You know what is selfish, though? And I don't know if they'll say it in this video. Scottie Pippen whining and bitching that he couldn't get that last shot against the Knicks.
Nah, man. This is the shit that fry me, and I'm not the guy equipped. You know, my NBA history is not, I'm not a Quizlet basketball brain. But I will say, every time I hear a story or a quote from Scottie, it's on some selfish shit. The more recent story that came out, it's like, huh? You think he was trash, bro? That's kind of selfish. And why is it selfish? Because he just wants to boost up himself, let alone every other bull. But let's be honest, I don't think he's caping for the other team. He's talking about him. He's boosting himself to a higher standard. He doesn't think he got the love that he deserves. It's same shit when we're talking about in this video. 2018, Jordan's better than Bron. Now, oh yeah, definitely. I've always thought Bron was better. Really, roll the clip, head ass. Like it's
I'm on the extreme opposite with this thing. I think Scottie Pippen gets way more credit than he deserves. Way more. I said it in the last video. If the draft order was Hakeem, then Jordan, and Clyde was next to Jordan. Oh my, God, who is Scottie Pippen, dude?
That would have been nasty.
Come on, like Chris Mullin, Scottie Pippen. That's where the conversation is gonna be. Not this. Is he top 30? Is he top? Come on.
I do think, and this may be hinting at our hidden bias, Jordan Stanley. You know how the shit is on the internet, right?
I'm
People
biased
can
to
have
Jordan
brains.
in this conversation. I'll just say that right now. Fuck it.
Well, I'm definitely more so on Jordan's side, but just to make you guys, and just to add more fear that I am some, internet peon here, I ain't gonna lie, I do think Scottie does get a little bit overrated due to these sympathetic arguments. And I'm sorry to do this, sorry that he's about to catch a stray here, but case in point, Joel Embiid shit this year. When these players keep coming out here, pushing these sob stories, this other player's selfish, he doesn't want it, all this other shit. Now we're in here giving a fuck about feelings, kinda, and we're ignoring what actually happened. And then on top of that, when you really dive into the feelings and the quotes that are being said, it's often the person crying that is honestly crying for no fucking reason. And it's getting lame, bro. It's getting lame. One of the worst things about Twitter is everybody has a voice. Cause goddamn, bro, like everybody don't need a fucking voice, bro. This is getting lame.
Scottie was also pissed that Jordan received $10 million for his involvement in the documentary, while he and the rest of the Bulls got nothing. Pip wasn't done there. He also unloaded on Phil Jackson during an interview with Dan Patrick.
No, I understand that, Scottie. I'm just
Get your
going by what
money
you
out!
said. You need to read
he's
between
crazy.
fine lines. It was a racial move to give Tony Kukoc a rise. So,
Well, I mean, if you knew that Scottie Pippen had been with the Bulls from '87, wouldn't you give Scottie Pippen one opportunity to get a last-second shot without Michael Jordan?
but have you talked to Phil
And this-
about this?
Come
Because
on,
by
Sage.
saying a racial move,
Yeah,
then
this one
you're
was
calling Phil
bad.
a racist.
I don't got a problem with that.
Okay, that one.
Scottie took shots at Charles Barkley.
Phil don't got the
not
best track
dedicated
record.
enough to
He
win a
don't
title.
got-
And Isaiah
I mean,
Thomas,
Phil-
whom he called a dirty player.
Fair enough,
However,
but
while
the
we do
reasoning.
agree that The Last Dance was overly centered on Jordan, and that there is a lot of truth in Pippen's words about the documentary, we can't escape the feeling that Scottie overreacted. In the doc, MJ still said there is no Jordan without Pippen. The Last
Man, that's
Dance
the
covered how
worst part.
underpaid Pippen
Jordan
was.
always
His
gives him his
success
flowers,
as the leader
bro.
of the Bulls without Jordan. Phil Jackson called Scottie the second best player in the league, and the doc mentioned Pippen guarding Magic in the '91 finals instead of Jordan, a key moment that turned the series around. So for Scottie to be going on this kind of media rampage, it just feels like a bit too much. We understand that it's hard to be the Robin to Jordan's Batman and live constantly in his shadow, and then relive that all over again in the documentary. But after the dust settled and all the insults had landed, it sounds like Pippen was just trying to say outlandish quotes to sell more copies of his book.
man.
Throughout all of
shit!
Jordan's bad-mouthing, Jordan never said another word publicly. There was no statement, trash-talking, or even acknowledging that Pippen suddenly turned into his biggest hater. It was only a sign that all the bridges were burned and that their relationship was broken beyond repair. To add insult to injury, in 2022, MJ's son Marcus Jordan started dating Scottie's ex-wife, Larsa Pippen, which certainly didn't feel good for her ex-husband. Wherever Scottie looked, Jordan was sticking it to a Pippen, and it seems like
Hey!
he's towards MJ. Not stop anytime soon.
I just fucked your bitch. It's so
It's
Gucci.
a good
Flip-flop.
flip-flop.
Ah.
Oh nah, bro.
Oh shit! Except now it ain't Gucci, it's Jordan.
J's on my feet. J's on my feet.
Yo, see, put some Jordan flip flops on the screen, bro. That shit is crazy.
Air slides, if you will, nigga. Oh Lord, bro.
Listen, bro, I get it, man. I get it. I think a lot of all-time greats, I've said it on this channel before, they have a lot of pride. They have a lot of confidence in themselves. I know we shit on Paul Pierce for saying that he thinks he had a better career than D Wade. But again, you don't have a career of a Paul Pierce without that edge to you. You don't become a Scottie Pippen without that edge to you. So I get it. It's competitive people being competitive. But we know what's up, man. I just fucked your bitch in some Gucci flip-flops. Yeah.
So get like me. Nah, this is crazy, bro. I agree with Souls ultimately. Like, I agree with Souls maybe to even a worse degree. Like, if I'm Mario Chalmers, I think I'm the best player in the world the night I'm going against LeBron. Just one night, I think I'm about to bust his ass type shit. And every other night, hell nah, LeBron better than me. But, like, that's what it takes to get there. So I'm as well not necessarily mad at it. I'm just mad that we all kind of know that Scottie knows what he's doing, how he's moving about it. He's not necessarily making basketball arguments. He's not necessarily going the route to just call bro straight up overrated and just stand on that. But what he's rather doing is kind of having this like feel bad for me ass attitude about it. And it's kind of getting the sympathy guys that are trying to talk outside the game, or now they're about to make arguments that they would never make for any other player ever, just to prove that Scottie was right all along. And it's corny to me, bro. Like I can't stand that element of basketball. Probably never will. But once the sorry, I feel sorry for you crowd has been spoken to, that's all they fucking see. So I know some people in the comments are gonna cook us for not caping for Scottie here, but ultimately I hate to say it, he's just wrong here, dog. It's just that's L man's like fuck. Any motherfucker watching this, if you were better at basketball than your boy, and your boy proceeded to talk shit about you for the rest of your days, while you yourself always say, yo, I would never win, get this money, get these bitches, all that shit without you, L man's, and it's not even a conversation. So it's tough.
Listen, man, we'll catch you on the next one. Here's another video on the screen if you guys want to watch more of our content. And peace out, yo.
Peace.